basketball fans, welcome back. So Tyrese Haliburton is on one of the most historic runs of all time for the Indiana Pacers, and he has been on a tear recently. And right now, the Indiana Pacers are up 3-2 on the New York Knicks. The Indiana Pacers are not able to close out the Knicks in Game 5 at the Madison Square Garden, and the games will be in Indiana. And Tyrese Haliburton, he had a very solid Game 4, and he had a stat line that was a triple-double with no.
Ty, according to some of the research people are doing, the most assists ever in a finals game, conference finals, without a turnover, and also the most combination points, rebounds, assists, steals with no turnovers in a game ever. Ever. What is that? Did you know that? And what is that like to do that?
I mean, no, I didn't know that. I feel like we making up stats at some point to make me look better. But
Turnovers. So Tyrese, he came out and said it feels like stats are being invented to make him look better. So Tyrese Haliburton joked about his Game 4 stat line because even historic greatness can feel unreal. And sometimes I feel like it's video game numbers, because sometimes back in the day when I was playing 2K, you could get a very unreal stat line, and you can even ask yourself, is this actually me? Was I the person who put up this? So man, it was crazy. So Tyrese Haliburton has always let his game do the talking, but after his historic Game 4 performance in the East Finals, he couldn't help but laugh at how outlandish and outrageous his numbers were. So he even came out and said, I feel like we are making up stats at some point to make me look better. And Tyrese Haliburton joked about notching 32 points, 15 assists, and 12 boards, 4 steals, and 0 turnovers for the Indiana Pacers 130-121 win over the New York Knicks. So his stats are just unreal, and they look like you can put his stats for this Game 4 side by side with Nikola Jokic, and they won't look different. And you can see his leadership and his statistics. He's just showing up in those moments where he's supposed to. And in that one sentence that he said that people are making up stats at some point to make him look better, I mean, Tyrese Haliburton managed to capture the absurdity of his night, a performance so pristine that he felt fictional. So no player in NBA playoff history has been able to get 30, 15, and 10 without a single turnover, because the assist to turnover ratio, um, a lot of the times it's 50-50, because you can't get all those assists without a turnover. But Tyrese is one of those guys, those athletes that can be able to get this job done, and it just looks like it's like nothing. And yet here was Tyrese Haliburton playing with total composure, dictating tempo, and embarrassing defenders with passes and pace, all while keeping the box score so clean and freshly waxed, like it just went to be clean recently. So you can see this guy is he's just a machine, and he's a system on his own. He's actually the real system. Don't forget what people talk about James Harden. I mean, this guy is the real deal. So despite the staggering start line, Tyrese Haliburton didn't want the focus to be on the numbers, and he came out and said it's all about winning. He said multiple times during his post-game presser, repeatedly crediting his teammates for their efforts. So give credit to the Indiana Pacers front office and the coaching staff in putting the reins of the offense on this guy, because this guy has been that person who has led the Indiana Pacers to the most success in recent times. So in a span of 11 minutes with the reporters, he used the word "we" 28 times. For Haliburton, the only start line that matters was 3-1. The series led by Indiana now, and right now as we speak, they are 3-2 on the New York Knicks, and they are closer to the finals. The last time the Indiana Pacers was in the finals was in the year 2000. That's the time where That's the time when Reggie Miller was there, and they've not been able to capture that success in Indiana since that time. And right now they're on the brink of doing so. So indeed, Tyrese Haliburton his unselfish brilliance has become his trademark, while Jalen Brunson continues to carry the Knicks with his sheer shot making and individual heroics. Tyrese Haliburton, he has been able to make the Pacers work as a unit, and he has been one of the most consistent players, they can say, in the postseason. So his 44-6 assists to turnover ratio in the conference finals is not just elite, it's historic, and it comes while pushing the tempo, initiating plays early, and feeding teammates in rhythm from all angles. So you can see there's no weak spot on Tyrese Haliburton's game, and in his game in the regular season also translate to what we see in the postseason. So what perhaps most striking is how Tyrese Haliburton has reshaped the expectations of what a superstar looks like. He doesn't fit the mold. His jump shot is quirky and it's awkward. It looks sometimes I wonder how his shots go in, but they're just high arcing. So he wears his glasses with pride. He smiles as much as he scores, and he's somebody who you just can't hate. I mean, if you look at his game, you just fall in love with this game. And that's the same thing that I can even say with Caitlin Clark, because I've been watching some Indiana Fever basketball. I can say they have that feel to the game where you just watch, you just smile, and you just feel happy when those shots going, especially from downtown, because Tyrese is a guy that can be able to knock down the three ball very well. Caitlin Clark knocks down the three ball very well. I can even say she knocks it down at an elite level for the Indiana Fever. And Tyrese Haliburton is just spreading that energy. And if you look at his performance, like in Game 4, he's proving that a new archetype of greatness exists, not the one that values pace, IQ, and precision over ISO-heavy domination. So majority of the time, when it comes to the playoffs, you're seeing teams somewhat change the way they play. You can see ISO-heavy offenses, just like what we've been seeing through the years with James Harden. You know, sometimes it's a bit of you can even say it's selfish with basketball. But if you look at how Tyrese approaches the game, not only is he concerned with uh, uh, getting his players good shots, but he's also concerned with winning, and he's team first. And team first point guard, especially in the postseason, that's what gets you in. So his humility also stands out rather than basking in the glow of his own numbers. Shifted the praise to Benedict Mathurin, especially Benedict Mathurin's bench explosion was insane. Aaron Nesmith, his gritty defense, and the energy of his teammates. He even shared a meaningful sideline moment with former Pacers George Hill, and a nod to those who paved the way. Especially in Game 1 when you saw him do the chalk sign and point to Reggie Miller, that was crazy. So for Tyrese Haliburton, he doesn't pad stats. It's not about starting, having the best stat line, but it's also looking at you can have the best stat line and also impart wins. But if the stats keepers keep inventing new metrics to match his brilliance, well, yeah, I mean it's going to be a routine because he's going to break all the metrics, and he's one of those players where he's just focused on winning. And if you look at him and his style of play, he doesn't look like physically imposing, and he's one of the most efficient players you can have. And that's not something that you come around. You've seen even in the previous video we've talked about the Chicago Bulls decide to choose Patrick Williams over Tyrese. You saw Killian Hayes being picked by the Detroit Pistons over Tyrese. And also you can see how the Sacramento Kings fumbled Tyrese Haliburton when they already had him. So they went ahead and traded him away for Domantas Sabonis. But anyway, this is what it is. I mean, and right now, Tyrese is one win away, and there's a high likelihood that the Pacers are going to go back to the NBA Finals, provided they're able to win the only one game. But for the Knicks, they need to win 2 games to force a Game 7. But hey, I mean, anything can happen in the postseason. I mean, there are no guarantees in the NBA, and quite honestly, I'm very excited to see Tyrese go ahead and surpass the expectations, because whatever Tyrese does is if he's able to take this Pacers team to the NBA Finals for the first time in a long time, I mean, it's going to surpass whatever Paul George ever did for the Pacers between 2012 to 2014. Because Tyrese Haliburton, but when he came into the Pacers, I mean, in that time, there was not too much expectation, but right now he's on the brink of making it to the NBA Finals, the biggest stage in basketball. So do drop me your comments down in the comment section down below what you think about this. I'm going to talk to you guys in the next one. Peace out.